Heartwarming friendships and emotional goodbyes to exciting adventures and unforgettable characters. For years, the Toy Story franchise has given us some of the best animated movies ever made. Whether it's about escaping from a bullet or dealing with an evil Jumbo Bear to ultimately facing off the biggest threat to their existence with tech devices. Although every film has brought something special to the franchise, but still there are a few installments that we can't match to any others. And that's why in this video we're going to rank every Toy Story movie from good to very best. So let's begin. At number 5, we have Toy Story 4. The film was released on June 21, 2019, almost 9 years after the Toy Story 3. It continues the storyline a year after the third installment when Andy passes on the toys to Bonnie. In the beginning, we see Woody trying to help Bonnie, who is nervous because she is going to kindergarten for the first time. Bonnie then creates a new toy named Forky using a plastic fork, which makes her feel better. But the things get challenging for the sheriff as Forky believes himself to be trash and tries to throw away himself multiple times. Soon, Bonnie's family goes on a road trip and the plot leads them to an outside world adventure where Forky escapes and Woody follows him to bring him back. The journey leads Woody to an antique shop where he reunites with his old friend Bo Peep, who was given away by Andy's mom at a yard sale after Toy Story 2. Bo Peep is now living independently with other lost toys. The main antagonist of the film is Gabby Gabby, a vintage doll who needs Woody's voice box to replace her defective one so that a child will love her. However, after several adventures at a nearby carnival, Woody realizes that Gabby Gabby truly wants to be loved and willingly gives his voice box to her. In the end, Gabby Gabby finally finds a child who needs her, and Forky realizes that Bonnie truly loves him. But the most emotional part of the ending is Woody's decision to stay with Bo Peep and help the lost toys find children who need them. This leads him to say an emotional goodbye to his old friends, Buzz, Jesse, and rest of the gang, while Buzz reassures him that Bonnie will be okay without him. Next at number 4, we have Toy Story 5. The movie was released on June 19, 2006, 7 years after Toy Story 4. It takes place 2 years after the events of the previous film, and the movie begins with Bonnie, who is now 8 years old. She gets a frog-themed tablet named Lilypad, with which she starts spending more time, ultimately neglecting her toys. Because of this, she also becomes isolated, and seeing all this, the new sheriff of Bonnie's toys, Jesse, becomes worried. Things become even more concerning when Lilypad tries to help Bonnie connect with her classmate through social media to make a friend. Jesse contacts Woody for help via walkie-talkie with one unit at Bonnie's house and the other with Woody. Woody returns to help and finally reunites with his old friends after a very long time. Together, the gang tries to help Bonnie learn that creativity and human connection are also very important. But it's not that easy as they have to face many challenges involving Lilypad and other tech gadgets. However, they also get help from some new friends and army of Buzz Lightyear toys stranded on an island. Anyways, in the end, Bonnie befriends the new child, and through that friendship, she realizes that toys still have an important place in her life. Woody then returns to the lost toys after having another great adventures with his old friends. At number 3, we have Toy Story 2, which was released on November 24, 1999, only 4 years after the first Toy Story movie. Although the film's plot takes place 2 years after the events of the first movie, it begins with Andy, who is now 9 years old and soon leaving for a cowboy camp. But while playing, Woody's arm gets torn, and that's why Andy decided not to take him to the camp. However, the real adventure begins when Woody is accidentally taken to a yard sale while saving another toy named Wizzy from being sold. Woody successfully saves him, but Al McWigan, a greedy toy collector, steals Woody. To save him, Buzz and a group of toys go on a rescue mission into the outside world. Meanwhile, at Al's apartment, Woody learns that he is a rare collectible from the 1950s show Woody's Roundup. He also meets the other members of the collection, a cowgirl named Jessie, a cowboy's horse named Bullseye, and Stinky Pete, also known as the Prospector. The other members tell Woody that they are a valuable set and are destined to live in a museum where they will always be admired. On the other hand, Buzz and the gang face many challenges on their journey, including facing another Buzz Lightyear toy and fighting the evil Emperor Zurg. Meanwhile, Woody's arm gets repaired and he got polished by a professional toy cleaner. He also gets excited by the idea of living in a museum, especially after Jessie tells him about her story that how her previous owner, Emily, abandoned her as she grew up. But soon he realizes that he is wrong and that a toy's true purpose is to be loved by a child, so he decided to return to Andy. But Stinky Pete refuses to let Woody go back because he was never played with by any child and desperately wants to reach the museum. However, after a struggle at the airport, Buzz and the gang successfully save Woody, Jessie, Bullseye from being shipped to Japan. Stinky Pete is defeated and ends up with a little girl who promises to play with him every day. In the end, the toys return to the home just before the Andy arrives back from the camp. Andy is happy to see that Woody's arm has been repaired and welcomes Jessie and Bullseye to the family. Next at the number 2, we have the very first Toy Story movie. It was released on November 22, 1935 and paved the way for more Toy Story movies with huge box office success. It takes place inside the bedroom of a 6-year-old boy named Andy whose toys comes to life whenever humans are not around. Andy's favorite toy is Woody, a cowboy doll who leads all other toys. However, the situation completely changes when Andy receives a brand new action figure named Buzz Lightyear on his 6th birthday. Buzz believes that he is actually a real space angel on a mission to protect the galaxy, having no idea he's actually just a toy. Anyways, everyone starts loving Buzz so quickly, not only the toys, but Andy also grows attached to him. Seeing all this, Woody becomes jealous and worries that he is being replaced. Meanwhile, Andy's family is moving to a new house, and just 2 days before the move, his mom decided to take him to dinner at Pizza Planet. But since Andy can take only one toy with him, instead of Woody, he chooses Buzz. Woody tries to push Buzz behind Andy's desk, however, things go way too wrong as he accidentally knocks Buzz out of the bedroom window. All the toys believe that Woody did it on purpose and turn against him. Soon, Andy comes into the room searching for Buzz, but since he can't find him and they are getting late, he takes Woody with him. As the car stops at the gas station on the way, Buzz suddenly appears from the car and confronts Woody. The two started fighting and fall out of the car window, getting left behind. After that, they work together and somehow make their way to Pizza Planet, where Andy has gone with his mom. But unfortunately, they are captured and taken by Sid Phillips, Andy's neighbor who enjoys destroying and experimenting with toys. At Sid's house, they encounter the mutant toys who look frightening at first but soon turn out to be very kind and helpful. Later, Buzz finally discovers the truth about his existence after seeing a television commercial for Buzz Lightyear toys. He becomes heartbroken and depressed after realizing that he is just another toy. But Woody tries to convince him that being a toy is more meaningful than being a space ranger. Soon Buzz is convinced, but by then Sid has already planned to blow him up the following day using a firework rocket. So Woody, together with the Sid's mutant toy, come up with a plan to teach Sid a lesson and then escape. The next day, the toys execute their plan perfectly, giving Sid the scare of his life when Woody appears to come to life in front of him. The terrified Sid promises never to harm toys again. Woody and Buzz escapes and finally glide safely into Andy's car just before the family drives away. Finally, at the top spot, we have Toy Story 3. The film was released on June 18, 2010, nearly 10.5 years after the second installment, while its plots take place 9 years after the events of Toy Story 2. The movie begins with Andy, who is now 17 years old and is leaving for college in just 3 days. As the toys worry about what will happen to them, Woody reassures everyone that Andy will most likely store them safely in the attic. However, due to a misunderstanding, Andy's mom mistakes the bag of toys for trash and places it outside. Believing Andy has thrown them away, the toys decided to leave and end up being donated to Sunnyside Daycare. At Sunnyside, the toys are welcomed by the daycare's leader Lotso along with Big Baby and Ken. At first, the daycare seems like a paradise where toys can be played with forever. While the others are excited about their new home, Woody believes that they still belong with Andy and decided to return home. Instead, he is taken to Bonnie's house where he meets her toys. Chuckles the clown tells Woody the truth about Lotso's tragic past, revealing that he became bitter after believing that he had been replaced by his own owner. After arriving at Sunnyside, Lotso eventually took the control of the daycare and turned it into a place where new toys were treated unfairly. Meanwhile, Buzz, Jesse and the others discover that Sunnyside is not the happy place it first appeared to be. Lotso traps them inside the caterpillar room where they are constantly handled by very young children, causing them to suffer damage every day. When Buzz comforts him, Lotso has Buzz reset to his original Space Ranger mode, turning him against his own friends and making the escape even more difficult. Later, Mrs. Potato Head discovers that Andy never intended to throw them away, making the toys realize that they had misunderstood the situation and that they truly belong with Andy. Woody returns to the sunny side to rescue his friends with the help of scattered telephone. They come up with an escape plan, and during their escape, Buzz also got back to his normal form. However, after a series of events, they finally get back to the home, while also end up getting stuck on a garbage truck. Finally, Woody takes all the toys, including Woody, to Bonnie's house and passes them to her. So these are all the Toy Story movies ranked, and that's all from this video. What are your thoughts about it, and how would you rank these 5 amazing Toy Story movies? Let us know in the comments. And if you guys want more Toy Story content like this, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel, click on the bell icon. Moreover, you can also download our website www.cartooncrave.com. Thanks for watching, guys.